I'm touring the Demigod, and yo, it's Demigod Cast. Man, I've been excited to drop this one for you guys. Um, this is December 21st, 2020, and for those who don't know, that's the winter solstice. For those who do know, it's the conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter. And what that has been called before is the Christmas star. Said to be the alleged star that arose on the day that the Christ was born, or that conjunction is synonymous with that date, supposedly. But yeah, just what is the Christ? I've been excited to tell you guys about this one because, well, I get to tell you guys who you are. Before I do that, I'll tell you who I am, or a little bit about who I am. Demigod Cast 1, I talk about evolution, kind of as a little bit of a joke, but evolution is real. Evolution is happening all across the globe, and evolution has happened before. Some examples of that would be the Buddha, maybe Confucius, and there's alleged forms or deities that have come from other planets in the mythos, in Eastern and Western mythology, and these beings, you can be an ascended master on a different planet, and incarnate on this planet in a vessel, but you can also evolve in a vessel. That's what the Book of Enoch is about. Enoch becoming an angelic being, or just evolving his consciousness enough to be accepted into the Council of Light. And it's crazy because all of this stuff is kind of scattered throughout history and religion, religious beliefs. A lot of books have been burned, a lot of scrolls have been burned, a lot of things have just been kept secret, when it comes to the history of humanity and what we've achieved, especially with the Egyptians. What they were doing was resurrection, and a lot of their work was towards the super consciousness of evolving, the spirit. But for them it was about achieving those higher states of love, because there was a lot of arrogance, and later became a very lustful and greedy environment where it was harder and harder to ascend. So the powers that were granted to them were mostly ritualistic, and they had to delve into the darker magic that later became what the sacrificial and sorts of things of that nature, with the curses. A lot of if you go to any form of Egyptian history, they'll kind of refer to, even Hollywood stuff, they refer to the curses of tombs and of pharaohs. That's all dark magic. Really just a curse that keeps them attached to their bodies, because they were attached. It's like you had to pretty much choose. If you weren't reaching the higher levels on this plane, then you went to the darker levels and decided to be a master of that magic back then, which was the shit that ended up getting them wiped out. So what does it mean to be a crystal child? I'm a self-proclaimed crystal child. I know a lot of people are out there. The indigo children and the crystal children are real. We came in waves. My wave was in '93. Um, Crystal children are going to be different ages. Rainbow children are going to be different ages. Indigo children are going to be different ages as well. Um, but what a crystal child is, Christos child, Christ child. There are crystalline structures within the earth that, the earth as a giant super electromagnetic being. Um, there are certain frequencies that resonate only on conscious levels. So there are levels that you can tap into um, in your consciousness. On different planes, you can kind of like transcend to different degrees. Like if you're looking at degrees on a temperature, think of that as degrees of awareness or degrees of perspective. Uh, just kind of heightening or descending up and down from a 3D perspective to perhaps a 9D perspective. 9D being dimension or density. Density being the density that your consciousness can vibrate into. The higher vibration, the higher the density, and that's just that means that you have a lighter consciousness. And when they talk about getting high, that is your brain is literally vibrating at a higher frequency. Your consciousness is literally getting higher. When people that have anxiety, they can't smoke sativa because sativa is a higher vibrating strain of weed than indica. Indica is lower. That's why the effects are different. The lower vibration lowers your frequency in your brain, lowers your body frequency. That's why they say it's a body high, because you can feel it, because it's literally your brain waves are moving at a slower rate, moving throughout your body. And with sativa, it also moves throughout your body. It just, people don't always feel it. Okay, because there's a certain it what the weed does is it breaks down. There's cannabinoid receptors, in each neuron, cell in your body, and what it does is it kind of deconstructs your thought patterns. That's why people feel like, people with anxiety, especially when they smoke sativa. A lot of people can't smoke sativa because they say they have anxiety. It messes with their head, makes them paranoid. In a lot of cases, people feel like they're going to die, or think that they're going to die when they smoke an intense amount of weed, or weed that raises their vibration or frequency so high that they're about to change into another state of mind or have an ego death. This is a real thing. And what's going on is they're literally transcending a different to a different state. They're leaving a 3D state of being, like the material thought patterns, what they have circulated in thought, their rhythm is about to break. And so that, to an anxious or a person, susceptible to paranoia, that is, very, very devastating to them at times. So people just avoid it altogether. But what's happening is your brain is there's just new neurons firing in your brain, and what happens is your brain can deconstruct and reconstruct itself, making itself more fluid. It can This is what's called neuroplasticity. So the cannabinoid receptors literally just fire off everywhere, just in new places because of the cannabis. And what this does is it makes your brain more it makes your brain more gelatin-like, in a way where that's why, when you get cotton mouth, for people that just start smoking, it's like like the it's like you're literally evaporating, like the water has just left you. That means that you don't have enough water in your brain. Okay. And when you don't have enough water in your brain, it means you don't have enough water in your blood, because water goes to your brain first, and then your brain and your heart are in communication. And based on how much uh, based on how much water is in your brain, it's going to tell your body how much blood to pump. Because you if you have too much blood, it's going to get thick if you don't have enough water. That's why they say blood is thicker than water. If you're just if you're running around with like 60% water in your body, you're susceptible to what's called dehydration. And your body does whatever it can to keep your levels at 76 to 80 to 88% water. So they say that the human body is that, but that's because your body is doing that on purpose. Okay. So if you just are, depending on how much water you drink, your body's always going to do that. But the more water you have, the easier it is. So you want to give your brain as much water as possible. All I drink is water. Sometimes I'll mix it up, get a little crazy, drink some sparkling water. People will say that's bad, but whatever. But if and also what's brain food, if you have the right amount of water levels, is sugar. Sugar is food for the brain, but you can't overdo it. If you have thick blood and you eat a lot of sugar, you're gonna have diabetes. That's that's why they say not to eat a lot. But granted, people aren't only drinking water all the time, and people aren't intermittent fasting all the time. So if you're intermittent fasting, if you're not eating meat, or any heavy metal foods, if you have an alkaline diet, you're going to want to eat sugar, because that's where your brain needs. It's like it has all these new places to fire. And so what sugar does, that's why they say kids, they have, don't give them sugar. Their ADHD is going to kick in, or their ADD is going to kick in when they eat sugar. That's just their brain doing. It's their brain literally creating ways to spend energy. It's your brain is feeding itself fuel. Kids don't know how to manifest things, how to focus their energy. But just having a coffee in the morning, okay, now you have your coffee, now you can operate. Just caffeine, just straight, put into waste just to wake up. The sun does that. The sun will wake you up. Spend 8 minutes outside, just stretching and breathing. That's like 10 coffees. I don't, it's crazy, but what sugar should be is spread throughout your week, so that your brain is operating and getting what it needs. Your body's going to tell you what it needs. People that think that it's just bad when they eat sugar, Well, what are you doing? What else are you eating? Are you eating a bunch of bread and, you've eaten Taco Tuesday all the time and pasta? You know what I mean? It's about balance. So anybody that's focused on doing what somebody is telling them to do, it's like if you eat everything, you're gonna crave everything. But if you fast and if you slow down your diet and you slow down your thinking process and you start listening to your body, because your body will talk to you. If you feel something wrong in your body and you say, okay, how could we fix this? You know, what's wrong with you, stomach? Why are you rumbling like this today? And stomach says to you, well, Torian, I'm gonna be honest with you. You probably put a little too much ranch, on those fries last night. I'm like, okay. It's honest, tummy. No more ranch. You know what I mean? You just gotta. It's called biofeedback. And everybody can do it, but you can't. If you don't have a clear state of mind, it's very hard. If you just have a bunch of thoughts that need to be processed through, if you haven't done any shadow work, then it's just going to, it's gonna sound clustered, and your ego needs to be silenced in order for you to actually understand what's going on with you, so that you know that, oh, okay, I just need to have a beet and quinoa and corn, and black bean bowl of food, a little bit more, and change my diet out so that my cells are getting, more longer lasting nutrients. It's like when you supply your body with things for your cells that have a short lifespan. Think about the lifespan of the food that you're eating. If it wouldn't last long, and I'm not talking about fresh foods, because fresh foods are just living foods, like fruits and vegetables. Um, but but when it comes to the things that last long, you know, in a good, because of naturally they last long. Pick those, because it's gonna have your cell regeneration last longer. You're gonna be more fit when it comes to replicating, you. Build a stronger and better you from the inside out. Um, so yeah, the crystal childs, the Cristo-sapiens. Um, you know, yeah, we're here to activate the crystalline structure within the earth, on a conscious level. Indigo children and crystal children, um, the consciousness part of the evolution comes first. The spiritual part of the evolution comes first, actually. Um, the spiritual part of the evolution is just waiting for you to become conscious of what's going on. And yeah, I mean, it's a fascinating time that we're in, you know. And what is time? Time is just a continuous moment. It seems like there's, you know, events and everything happens, here or there, but it's like we're just getting slid through one continuous moment. You know what I mean? If you just wake up and go to sleep, You know, what's fascinating, I heard that we spend 1/3 of our life asleep, right? But we're still alive, you know? There is no death, folks. There is no death. That 1/3, I don't dream. A lot of people dream. I'm not clairvoyant. I'm starting to dream. You know, I dream every once in a while. I think I just get messages. I think my soul just goes to, a different school. I learn stuff here, and then, my soul just, my, light body, higher self goes to a completely different, dimension that I can't even see. I don't even go. People say they astral project and stuff. I don't do that. I don't even, I think I just slide, all the way to like the back of the book or something, to where my story just gets way more interesting. But yeah, crystal. Speaking of crystal children, here's a little crystal update. Anybody that's working with crystals, um, my ascension combo here has been very helpful to me. But these are intense. So this is Nigerian phenakite. Just look up phenakite, spelled with a PH. Moldavite and black phantom Herkimer diamond. This is Herkimer diamond, just a regular one. And this is Moldavite at the top, Tremolite here in the middle, green Tremolite, and then this is Herderite. It's gold. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's a gold Herderite. There's little flakes of gold in there, but yeah, they're all geared towards what you set your intention for them to be. Moldavite is like a transformation stone. Phenakite is an amplifier, but it's also good luck. I think Moldavite's supposed to be good luck. Moldavite's intense, so if you guys get like a big one, it works really good with Herderite, but I would say just like wear it in rounds, just like, wear it for a day or two and then take it off, because it'll start to like, make your, it was making my chest swell up, so I had to take that off. It would make my nose bleed. I had the Moldavite on, it was making my nose bleed, and when I put it on, it made my nose bleed, and when I took it off, the nosebleed stopped. So I was like, okay, that's definitely that. But the Herderite is powerful. This works with me really well. That's just a personal stone. That's one that it literally unlocks star codons within the human DNA. Oh yeah, and that's another thing. When it comes to human DNA, scientists really don't know a lot about it. DNA does astounding things. It has a consciousness of its own. But once you raise your consciousness, raise your frequency enough, your soul will start to work with your DNA and unlock itself more and more and more. There is a hidden chromosome. There's a 24th chromosome that's not visible to the human, the human eye. That every human has. It's a 24th chromosome, but it's astral. So that activates with wisdom. It's called um, the wisdom gene. And when one becomes wise enough, it activates because it's literally pure love and light. And I don't know. There's just some fascinating things going on with us. So I hope that helps the demigods and demigoddesses out there. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. It's the Demigod, or at Torian's Glory on Twitter. Um, and follow me on Instagram, Torian the Demigod on Instagram. Thank you guys for liking the videos and subscribing.